question that.
Okay.
Why are we talking about running away from home?
Well, it is because we don't just try to run away from home. We also all have moments when we try to run away from God too. Running away, that is something that we're all tempted to do. But the thing is, when we run away from God, we usually make the same mistake that you made when you ran away from your mom. We focus on what we're running from, but we forget to pay attention to what we're running to, and we end up in places that, quite honestly, we would rather not be.
Okay, so I have some questions about that.
Okay.
First, what does it look like to run from God?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Running from God means I intentionally choose to do something I know God doesn't want me to do, or it can be that I refuse to do something I know God does want me to do. And when I keep doing that over and over and over again, well, that turns into me running away from God.
Okay, maybe an example?
Yeah. Maybe you have a friendship or you're in a dating relationship with somebody and you know that relationship isn't healthy for you. But even though you're aware of that, you stay in the relationship anyway. Or maybe you're disrespectful to the grown-ups in your life all the time, even though you know you ought to be respectful. Or maybe you're being unkind to your siblings, or maybe you're watching porn, or you're sending someone inappropriate pics, or maybe you're cheating on your homework or your tests at school. It could be that you're sneaking out, you're drinking beers, you're smoking pot. Or it could be that you're gossiping about certain people, you're being a bully, you're doing mean stuff to somebody. In other words, it's all stuff you know God says isn't healthy for you, but you do it anyway. That's what running looks like.
Okay, so I can see how those are ways that you run from God. But, I mean, are there any ways that maybe aren't so, obvious?
Oh, yeah. There's the other side of this. Sometimes we run from God when we decide we're not going to do what we know God wants us to do. So maybe we sense he's asking us to give, to help somebody, or to take time to serve somebody. And we decide, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be selfish, so we don't do it. Or maybe God shows us something in our lives that we know needs to change, and we're just too stubborn to change it. Running from God can look like that. That's just as much an example as the other side.
Okay, so are the only people running from God the people who are living these wild lives, or can you hide the fact that you're running from God?
That is a great question. You can definitely hide it. I think some people are defiant runners and they don't really care who knows. But a lot of us, we are quiet runners. So we still look like we're doing all the right things, but we know deep down inside that we're ignoring something God said. So it can go either way. But both of those types end up with very similar problems.
Okay, so that totally makes sense. So how about we give you some time now to process this? Can you think of a time when you ran away from God? Maybe there was something you were doing that you knew God wouldn't want you to do. Or maybe there was something you wouldn't do that you knew God would want you to. Take a minute to talk about that with your group and share one lesson you learned from that time.